Hello and welcome back to the weekly Cars.co.za news. I'm David Taylor, and today's episode, all the highlights from the Munich IAA Auto Show, plus JAECOO launches its J5 baby SUV into South Africa, and Ford has issued yet another recall. And before we get into this week's news episode, remember Cars.co.za is not just a YouTube channel. We also sell vehicles, both new and used, and right now we have over 85,000 vehicles for sale. And in the time it takes for you to watch this, you can get your test drive booked. Right, music. So IAA Munich Auto Show has come and gone, and in last week's episode I touched on what I thought were the two most important relevant vehicles. That was the BMW iX3 Neue Klasse plus the Mercedes-Benz GLC EQ. And a lot of you are like, Dave, you have to tell us about all the other stuff. And I was like, fine, okay, we will. So here's my best of the rest. Right, first up is this, and yes, shout out to a lot of you who asked for it, the new Renault Clio. Now, I have to put a little disclaimer here. I am a former Clio owner, and my cameraman Sean, he also had a Renault Clio, and the marketing guy Andrew, he also had a Clio. Clios are important to Cars.co.za. And guys, the styling, I think is very fussy. It's not really doing anything for me. It's so awkward and ungainly. And I think in comparison to the standard Renault portfolio, like the Megane E-Tech, the electric one, and the brand new Renault 5, this is quite an oddity. Underneath the skin, I see it's still underpinned by the same CMF platform as the outgoing one. But critically, and this is where it gets really sad, is that we reached out to Renault South Africa and said, right, tell us when the Renault Clio 6 is coming to South Africa. And they said, it's highly unlikely that we're going to see this new model in South Africa anytime soon, if it ever. And this then leads me to the question of, is this the end of the road for the Renault Clio in South Africa? It's looking alarmingly so, because the last time the Clio actually registered a new vehicle sale was October 2024. There hasn't been a brand new Renault Clio sale since then. And that for me is an alarm call. So yes, we'll wait for the official confirmation, but right now I see it as the end of the road for the Clio in South Africa. And that for me is a bit sad. Right, next up on your screen right now, that is the latest iteration of Porsche's 911 Turbo S. And yes, we don't talk about styling when it comes to Porsche 911s, because the design doesn't change much, but the hardware and the technology does. How's this number? 523 kilowatts from a 3.6 litre twin turbocharged flat 6 petrol engine. New for this model, they've introduced a little hybrid electric assist, so that'll account for 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds, which is 0.2 seconds quicker than the outgoing model. Guys, that's nuts performance. 2.5 seconds. Now, I've been privileged enough to drive some seriously quick stuff. 2.5 seconds is on another realm. I've done 0 to 100 in 2.9, 2.89, around there in some other stuff. And it's quite frightening how rapid that is. And the good news is, yes, fresh from its reveal, we already have pricing. The car is locked in for South Africa, and you can get behind the wheel from 5.5 million rand. And the last car that really caught my attention at the Munich Auto Show was the Volkswagen ID Cross concept. Now, Volkswagen is trying really hard to get the whole urban electric car mobility about. So there's going to be an ID Polo, a small electric Polo, and an ID Cross electric, which is basically going to be an electric form of the T-Cross. Now, yes, electric is not everyone's cup of tea, and I really hope some design elements from this concept, the one you see on your screen right now, makes it to the next generation of T-Cross. Right, on to the next story, and JACU has launched its compact J5 SUV to the South African market. Now remember that the hierarchy, J7 is the medium-sized one, so J5 is a little bit smaller, and it follows the same naming convention, Vortex, Glacier, Inferno. Now if I look at the brochure here, 1.5 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol, 115 kilowatts, 230 newton meters, front-wheel drive CVT. Now if you look at the technical data, this is the same platform as the Omoda C5, so I think the C5 is a really good-looking vehicle. The JACU side of the product portfolio seems to be a little bit more off-road biased, and yeah, I find this design not unpleasant. It looks a bit utilitarian. Fuel economy is claimed at 7.5 litres per 100. We'll test that when the vehicle comes to our offices. Pricing starts from 380 grand. It's on your screen now. Notice there's a special for the first month. That's a nice little incentive. If you like what you see, you can buy now and you'll save a little bit more money. The price will then increase by a couple of grand at the end of the month. Finally, in some consumer news, Ford has issued yet another recall for its locally built Ranger. That's 3 recalls in 3 months. And yes, I know recalls are not great, but rather be safe than sorry. This latest one affects almost 5,700 Rangers. Now let me read you the release. Ford says it has identified that in the affected vehicles, the customer may feel a change in pedal feel or travel with an increase in pedal efforts needed to brake the vehicle due to a loss of the brake boost feature. Loss of brake boost may cause extended stopping distance, increasing the risk of an accident. That's not great. Ford says it's already contacting affected customers and dealers will be doing the repairs at no charge. And from what we can see, the repair is a simple software upgrade, so that shouldn't take too long. As always, I will link the additional content and reading in the description below. And if you're a Ford Ranger owner, I'll put the link to the Ford recall notice and you can check and make sure your vehicle is going to be fine. And remember guys, Cars.co.za is not just a YouTube channel. We also sell vehicles, new and used. Right now, there's over 85,000 vehicles to choose from. So if you're shopping for a new car, we should have a vehicle for you. I'll see you next week for episode 60. Okay, bye.
Let's find what moves you. Cars.co.za